So, till now, we have been discussing the second section of fourth canto, the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, and we have seen how Uttanapada's two children, Dhruva Uttama, two wives, Suruchi Suniti, then Dhruva getting insulted by stepmother, going to forest, meeting Narada Muni, learning how to perform bhakti, practicing bhakti, attaining darshan of the Lord, offering prayers, coming back, ruling kingdom, getting married and begetting children, and fighting for the sake of his younger brother Uttama, and hearing from Swayambhuva Manu about the teachings of Supreme Lord, then retiring, going to forest, performing Vanaprastha duties, Nanda Sunanda coming from the abode of Lord Vishnu to take Dhruva, and Dhruva goes to the abode of Lord Vishnu and also his mother, and the place became known as Dhruvaloka. Then later on, Narada Muni glorified the wonderful activities of Dhruva Maharaj in the assembly of Prachetas. There were three verses are spoken about that. How a small boy at the age of 5 went to forest and performed austerities in 6 months at darshan of the Supreme Lord, and eventually I went back to the abode of Supreme Lord. How glorious is he! And no one can do. Even the great sages for millions of lifetimes, they can't even attain the path followed by Dhruva. Then what to speak of the destiny attained by Dhruva? Such a wonderful thing attained by a 5-year-old boy. How great he must be. Like that, Narada glorified in the assembly of Prachetas. So, hearing this, now in this chapter, our Vidura is going to ask, please, wait. Who are these Prachetas? How are they worshipping the Lord? What Narada Muni spoke to Prachetas? Oh, what kind of teachings Narada Muni gave the Prachetas? And what else happened? Please tell me about this conversation. So now Maitreya has to answer about the meeting of Prachetas and Narada. But Maitreya knew that the Prachetas are going to appear in the same lineage that of Dhruva. So in order to help us understand about the meeting of Prachetas and Narada, now Maitreya will be describing the descendants of Dhruva. And slowly, it will end up with Prachetas at the end of this fourth canto. That's how the conversation will go on in this canto. For now, in the 13th chapter, King Anga, one of the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, gives birth to a son called Vena by performing a sacrifice by which a king can get a son, like Putra Kameshti Yajna and something like that. Because of the evil nature of his son Vena, King Anga becomes disgusted and leaves the kingdom. So, one of the descendants of Dhruva, King Anga, who had a son Vena, and what happened between them is the subject matter of this chapter. So, little big chapter, 47 verses are there. Let us see. So, in the first 5 verses, Vidura is going to inquire about Prachetas. Who are these Prachetas? When, where, how, why, what happened in their meeting? Like that. Suta Uvacha
Sut
Sut
Uvacha
निशम्य कौशार विनोपवर्तिना वर्णितम्
Nisamya Kosaravinopavanitam
ध्रुवस्य वैकुण्ठपदादिरोहणम्
Dhruvasya Vaikunthapadadhirohanam
प्ररूढभावो भगवत्यदोक्षजे
Prarudha Bhagavati Adhokshaje
प्रष्टुं पुनस्तं विदुरा प्रचक्रमे
Astum Punastam Vidura Prachakrame. Suta Goswami continued to speak to all the rishis heard by Saunaka said, after hearing Maitreya Rishi describe Dhruva Maharaj ascent to Lord Vishnu's abode, Vidura became very much enlightened in devotional emotion, and he inquired from Maitreya as follows.
After hearing about the ascent of Dhruva to the abode of Lord Vishnu from Maitreya, Vidura, his devotion to the Lord increasing. Bhagavati Adokshaje Praruda Bhavo began to inquire from Maitreya again. So hearing that how the Lord's mercy, Lord's compassion upon Dhruva, that it not only blessed him and it took him to his own abode. Just seeing that how Lord is so merciful, thinking like that, Vidura began to inquire further. Vidura Uvacha
Vidura
Vidura
Uvacha
Uvacha
Kete Prachetaso Nama
Kete
Kete
Prachetiso
Prachetaso
Nama
Nam
Kashyapathyani Suvrata
Kasyapatyani Suvrata
Kasyanbhavaye Prakyata
Kasyanbhavaye Prakhyata
Kutra va Satramasata.
Putra va Satramasata. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O greatly advanced devotee, who were the Prachetas? To which family did they belong? Whose sons were they? And where did they perform the great sacrifices?
Oh Maitreya, who were the Prachetas? Whose sons were they? In whose family did they become famous? Matlab, in which lineage they are famous? Where was the sacrifice performed? So some simple question, because Nardamuni met them and glorified about Dhruva to them. He wants to know where happened, when it happened, who are the Prachetas, their background, etc. In the previous chapter, it was mentioned that Narada recited some verses about Dhruva at the sacrifice of the Prachetas. So now they want to know. Anvavaya means in which family the Prachetas are born, in which family lineage the Prachetas are born. So something like that. Manye Mahabhagavatam
Manye
Manye
Mahabhagavatam
Naradam Devadarshanam
Naradam Devadarshanam
Yena Proktah Kriya Yogaha
Yena Proktah Kriya Yogaha
Paricharya Vidirhare.
Paricharya Vidir Hare. Vidura continued, I know that the great sage Narada is the greatest of all devotees. He has compiled the Pracheta Pancharatriga procedure of devotional service and has directly met the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So he says, I know Narada is a great devotee. Manne Naradam Mahabhagavatam is a Mahabhagavat Bhakta. Everyone accepts. Who sees the Lord always. Whenever Narada sings something, Lord will become visible to him. That is the greatness of Narada Muni. And he spoke the Pancharatha scripture concerning service to Supreme Lord. Paricharya Vidir Hare. So Hari Bhakti, how to execute. So Narada presented it in the form of Pancharatrika Vidhi. There is a book known as Narada Pancharatra. So that Narada must have spoken about Lord to the Prachetas. He must have told how to worship the Lord. So I want to hear that. So please speak about that. Something like that. To that effect, he is asking. I know Narada is a great devotee who saw the Lord always. He spoke the Pancharatra scripture concerning the service to Supreme Lord. So Kriya Yoga Paricharya Vidhi refers to Pancharatra scripture. Swadharmashilai Purushair
Swadharmasilai Purushair
Bhagavan Yajna Purusha
Bhagavan Yajna Purushah
Hijyamano Bhaktimata
Hijyamano Bhaktimata
Narade Nerita Kila.
Narade Nerita Kila. while all the prachetas were executing religious rituals and sacrificial ceremonies, and thus worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his satisfaction. The great sage Narada described the transcendental qualities of Dhruva Maharaj.
Here it says, the Lord, enjoyer of the sacrifice, Bhoktara Magnitavasam, worshipped by the Prachetas, who performed their duty, was praised by devotee Narada. So, the Prachetas also must be great devotees. They must be engaged in Lord service. And Narada Muni might have come and instructed him much more on bhakti. So, I want to hear all that. Please narrate. The Lord, having been worshipped by the Prachetas, who practiced their duties, was then praised by Narada. So when Narada Muni comes, he also praises the Supreme Lord. He cannot keep quiet. He must have instructed the Prachetas on the Pancharatrika Vidhi. So I want to know all those things. What all he spoke, what all he instructed to the Prachetas, all that I want to hear. Yasta Devarshina Tatra.
Yastadevarshina tatra
Varnita Bhagavat Katha.
varnita bhagavat katah
Mahyam Susrushave Brahman.
mahyam susrushave brahman
Karsnena Chastamarhasi.
kasnena chastumarhasi. My dear Brahmana, how did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead and what pastimes were described in that meeting? I am very eager to hear of them. Kindly explain fully about the glorification of the Lord.
Whatever discussion that must have taken place between Narada Muni and Prachetas about the Supreme Lord, please tell me everything without fail. So this is the eagerness of a devotee. And Vidura is a great devotee and is expressing his eagerness. Such kind of eagerness everyone should have. Oh Brahmana, you should describe fully to me, completely, who is eager to hear Sushrusave, the topics of Supreme Lord, which Narada spoke to the Prachetas in that assembly. So questions about who are Prachetas, what were they doing, and Narada Muni must have spoken to them about the Supreme Lord. Please tell me all those things. So that is the inquiry. Now, Maitreya will respond. In order to tell about who are Prachetas, in which family they came, so their family lineage will be described by describing the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj. The descendants of Dhruva will be described now in first few verses, and then the further story, the details of the notable people will be mentioned. For other people, simply the names are mentioned. Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya
One by one. Dhruvasya Chotkala Putra.
Dhruvasya
Pitare Prastite Vanam.
Pitare Pravanam
Sarvabhauma Striyam Naichad.
Sarvabhuma Sriyam Naicha
Adi Rajasanam Pituhu.
Adi Rajasanam Pitahu. Translation. The great sage Maitreya replied, My dear Vidura, when Maharaj Dhruva departed from the forest, his son Utkala did not desire to accept the opulent throne of his father, which was meant for the ruler of all lands of this planet. Hare Krishna.
So after Dhruva, Dhruva's eldest son supposed to be the next ruler. Dhruva had two wives. The first wife was Ila. She gave birth to one son Utkala and one daughter. Her name is not mentioned, but she was said to be very beautiful. And he also married another wife. Her name is Brahmi, and she gave birth to two children. One is Vastara, other youngest one is Kalpa. This was mentioned in the previous chapters, one of the previous chapters. Now from there on, the discussion is going on. So now what happened? When Dhruva departed to the forest to perform Vanaprastha duties, his son Utkala did not want the throne of his father or the wealth of the whole earth. So after Dhruva, the next one, Dhruva's eldest son, who was Utkala, supposed to be the king. So is anybody from Orissa in our class now?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Correct. So what is the meaning of Utkala?
Kalinga, na Odisha is Utkal, I think.
See, Orissa is Utkal, but what is the meaning of the word Utkala? In your mother tongue, Odisha, or there must be some meaning should be there. Okay. I searched in the morning while preparing. Utkala means expert or excellent. It is said that Utkala province was expert in arts. So that's why the area became known as Utkala. But whatever, expert. So from the philosophy point of view, from Shastra point of view, expert are those who understand the purpose of life. They are considered to be the experts. Otherwise, from the material standard, we may say somebody who is knowledgeable, skillful in a particular area, we may say they are experts in this field. But from Shastra point of view, those who know who the Supreme Lord is, those who are prepared to go back home back to Godhead, they are said to be expert. So he is such a person. He is Utkala and he is expert at Brahmagyan. As a result of that, he was not interested to become the king. He is not interested in the wealth of the entire Bhumandala, which was his father's. He is only interested in going back home back to Godhead. That's why he is Utkala. So Dhruva announced, "Oh, my dear Utkala, you become the king." Then he went. But Utkala, after father departed, Utkala did not become the king. Instead, he continued to be as a Brahmajnani, something like that. Since the Prachetas are born in the Dhruva's dynasty, the story of the Prachetas will appear in the narrations of Dhruva's descendants. This description is for that matter. Utkala was the son of Dhruva and Ila, who was daughter of Vayu. He had a very beautiful sister also. So now, Utkala means expert. In what he is expert? By what? He is not willing to become the king and he does not want the opulence of the entire Bhumandala. What is that expertise of Utkala? Let us see. Sajanmanopashantatma
स्वजन्मनोपशान्तात्मा
Nissanga Samadarshanaha
निस्सङ्गसमदर्शनः
Dadarsha Vitatam
तदर्शलोके विततम्
Atmanam Lokamatmani.
आत्मानं लोकमात्मनि. From his very birth, Utkala was fully satisfied and unattached to the world. He was equipoised, for he could see everything in the supersoul and the supersoul present in everyone's heart.
In which field is expert? He is expert in this field. What is mentioned in this verse? From the very birth, Utkala was completely peaceful. Upashantatma. Without attachments. Nissangaha. And saw all beings as himself. Samadarshanaha. See, it is not that he acquired it afterwards. From the very birth, he was like that. He was not at all interested in any material possession. He does not have any attachments. He saw everyone as himself. He saw the Lord pervading everything in the world. Dadarsha Atmanam Loke Vitatam. And the whole world within the Lord. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam sha mai pashyati. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, so Utkala is a perfect example of that description. He who sees everything in me and he who sees me in everything. Such a person never stays away from me, is always with me. So from his very birth, he was a perfect jnani, upashantatma. Such a person, why would he become king? Why would he want to become the king? So obviously, he will not become king. But thinking that the ministers might force me to become the king, so he began to behave like a dumb person, like Brahmana Bharata, whom we call Jada Bharata, like that. He used to behave in front of everyone so that even the ministers does not force him to become the king. Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam
Atmanam Brahma Nirvanam
Pratyas Pratyastamita Vigraham
Pratyastamita Vigraham
Avabodharasaikamyam
Avabodharasaikamam Rasaikatmam
Anandam Anusantatam
Anandam Anusantatam
Avyavachinna Yogagni
Avyavachinna Yogagni
Dhagda Karma Malashayah
Dagda Karma Malashayaha
Swarupam Avarundano
Swarupam Avarundhano
Natmanonnanyam Tadakshata.
Natmanonyam Tadaikshata. By expansion of his knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, he had already attained liberation from the bondage of the body. This liberation is known as Nirvana. He was situated in transcendental bliss, and he continued always in that blissful existence, which expanded more and more. This was possible for him by continual practice of Bhakti Yoga, which is compared to fire because it burns away all dirty material things. He was always situated in his constitutional position of self realization, and he could not see anything else but the Supreme Lord and himself engaged in discharging devotional service.
So, since very childhood, he was completely peaceful. He was looking at each and everyone as himself, and he is seeing Paramatma in everything, and he is seeing everything in Paramatma. Such a person, anyway, not interested in kingdom, not interested in the opulences. Thus, realizing the Jiva as Brahman, Atmanam Brahma, which was completely peaceful, devoid of argument, pure knowledge, bliss, and all pervading. And these are all the attributes of absolute truth, Parabrahman. So realizing Jivatma similar to Paramatma or Parabrahma, whose qualities are completely peaceful, devoid of argument, and then pure knowledge and completely bliss and all pervading. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are the 5 attributes of the absolute truth, Parabrahma, which was completely peaceful, nirvana, devoid of argument, pratyasmita vigraham, pure knowledge, avabodha rasaikatmyam, pure bliss, anandam, and all pervading, anusantatam. These are the 5 attributes of Parabrahma. And that Parabrahma and the Jivatma, he began to see them similar in qualities. Both of them are same in qualities. And with that knowledge, with that Brahma Jnan, having burned up all contamination of karma, Dagda Karma Mala, within his heart, Ashaya, by the continuous fire of yoga, Avyavachinna Yogani, Govagni, Jnanagni Dagda Karmanas, Basmasat Kurute Arjuna. 4th chapter Bhagavad Gita Lord says that those who are endowed with Jnana, they will burn all the karmas into ashes. Same way here, with the Yoga Agni, he burnt all the karmas into ashes. Utkala saw only the pure Jiva and nothing else. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Astini Suni Chaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Everywhere he is seeing only pure Brahman, pure Jivatma. He is not seeing people as living entities. You only get to see everyone as a pure Brahman. Why would such a person want to stay in this world and continue as a king? Obviously, he is not attached. He knew the Swarupa of the Jiva as Brahman, as tranquility, endowed with tranquility, devoid of argument. So, what was that Atma? It was completely one with the essence of knowledge, full knowledge. It was pure knowledge, avabodha rasekatmyam. Utkala's heart had burnt all contamination of karma by the continuous fire of yoga. He saw nothing except the pure Jiva. He is only seeing Jivatmas everywhere, Brahman everywhere. That is the level at which he was already situated. Indifferent Utkala. So now, see, I don't know whether I put it for all, but it is understood that just like Dhruva and his mother Suniti went to Dhruvaloka, some of his children, whose names we are going to discuss now, they also went to Dhruvaloka. And Lord Vishnu, when he promised, I'll give you the position which is superior to that of Brahma, Lord Vishnu said, you take my abode. Along with that, Lord Vishnu also gave him his own seva. Lord Vishnu seva is to maintain the universe. So now, on behalf of Lord Vishnu, Dhruva is maintaining the universe. And he will be assisted by his family members. His two wives and their children, like that, they all will assist Dhruva. So what is the meaning of maintenance? Later on we'll study when we come to 5th canto. The maintenance is nothing but supervising the movements of grahas, nakshatras and rashis and tarakas. How in the outer space the planets are moving, nakshatras are moving, constellations are moving, rashis are moving. Based on that, the time is passing. By the passing of time, the things are happening. And the grahas moving themselves are also moving us. They are supervising all our activities, etc. etc. So in that way, the functional aspect of the maintenance of the universe, which is supposed to be done by Lord Vishnu, now it is done by Dhruva Maharaj. And he will take the help of his family members. So first, who are all helping him? So the indifferent Utkala, son of Ila, daughter of Vayu. Here we have three people. One is Vayu, second one is Ila, third one is Utkala. All these three people, how are they assisting Dhruva in maintaining the universe? They represent the indifferent Utkala, son of Ila and daughter of Vayu, represent the Vata Rashmi, windy rope. Because Utkala is the grandson of Vayu, he will have the quality of Vayu, windy rope, that connects the luminaries consisting of 12 rashis, 27 nakshatras, 9 grahas, and unlimited tarakas with the Dhruvaloka. Whatever is there in the outer space, they are all connected to Dhruva through a rope made up of wind. This connection is not a physical connection, but it is there. Just like Utkala does not have any physical attachment. So there is no physical connection between Dhruva and all these luminaries. But there is a subtle connection which is made up of windy ropes, a rope made up of wind, because our Vayu is there, na? So Vayu se bane rasti. Ila, one more name of Ila is Prithvi. Ila also means Prithvi. So Prithvi means some solid content. So Prithvi means attachment, attraction. So Gurutva Akarsha Shakti Visena, that is the quality of the Prithvi. So since Ila means Prithvi, so though Utkala is indifferent, but Utkala's mother Ila joins all the planets, all the stars to Dhruvaloka with the help of a rope made up of wind. So externally they appear disconnected, but internally they are all connected. So this is being done by these three people, Vayu, Ila, and Utkala. These three people are also there along with Dhruva, at least if not Vayu is everywhere, but especially Ila and Utkala. Both of them are also there with Dhruva Maharaj in Dhruva Loka, and they are doing their connections, their respective services. So it's like that. Further continues. This is what I said. Since he does not want to become the king, he behaved like a Jada. Jadanda Bahironmatta.
Jadanda Badironmatta
Mukakrutiratamatanmatihi.
Mukakritir Atanmatihi
Lakshita Pati Bhalanam.
Lakshitah Patibalanam
Prashantarcherivanala.
Prasantarchir Ivanalah. Utkala appeared to the less intelligent person on the roads of on the road to be foolish, blind, dumb, deaf, and mad. Although actually he was not so. He remained like fire covered with ashes, without blazing flames.
To the unintelligent people, for the normal people on the roadside, Utkala appeared to be a retarded, that means dumb, Jada, blind, Anda, deaf, Badira, mad, Unmatta, and dumb, Muka. So, externally, he behaved himself as if he is Jada, Anda, Bhadira, Unmatta, Muka Akriti. So that no one will disturb him. That was his intention. Though he was not Atadmati, but actually was not. He was neither Jada, nor Anda, nor Badira, nor Unmatta, nor Muka. He was like a fire with extinguished flames. He was like fire covered with ashes. So he displayed himself like that so that he can fix his attention, his consciousness on the Supreme Lord himself. He don't have to be disturbed by the external responsibilities and all. That was the situation. On the path, he appeared to be retarded to the foolish people, but he did not have the but he did not have the intellect of a fool. He was the highly intelligent person. His name itself says that he is Utkala, is the most perfect person. So like that. So then the ministers, considering Utkala to be unfit for becoming a king, they made the next son of Dhruva as the king. Matvatam jadamunmattam.
Matvatam jadamunmattam
Kulavruddha samantrinah.
kulavriddha samantrinah
Vastaram bhupatim chakror.
vatsaram bhupatim chakrur
Vaiyamsham brame sutam.
vaiyamsham brahme sutam. Translation. For this reason, the ministers and all the elderly members of the family thought Utkala to be without intelligence and in fact mad. Thus, his younger brother, named Vatsara, the son of Brahmi, was elevated to the royal throne and he became king of the world.
So thinking that Utkala was retarded or mad, the elders of the family and the ministers enthroned Vatsara, his younger brother, the son of Brahmi, as the king. Since the eldest son is not fit for becoming the king, the next son, the eldest of the Brahmi had two children, Vatsara and Kalpa. So Vatsara was made king of the entire Bhumandala. So Vatsara and Kalpa were the sons of Dhruva and Brahmi, the daughter of Prajapati Shishumara. Now, previously, Utkala was the son of Ila, who was the daughter of Vayu. So we saw what are their services. Basically, all the planets and luminaries are connected to Dhruvaloka through a rope made up of wind. So thus they are all connected to Dhruva, not physically, but virtually. So just like Dhruva is not, Utkala is not physically attached to anything. Similarly, the planets are not physically attached to Dhruva. But at the same time, through the Rashmi means Ila is Prithvi. The Rashmi is made up of Prithvi. And what kind of Prithvi, what kind of Rashmi is that? Vata Rashmi. The father is Vayu. So the Rashmi made up of Vayu, because Ila is the daughter of Vayu. So she is like Prithvi, like Vayu. So they are connecting all the planets with Dhruvaloka. And now the Prajapati Shishumara had a daughter Brahmi, and she had two children, Kalpa and Vastara. So all the luminaries that are there in the outer space, they are arranged in the form of a Shishumara. All of them are arranged in the form of a Shishumara. And being situated in the Shishumara, all these luminaries and planets are continuously revolving day in, day out. Every day making one round, all the planets and luminaries are continuously traveling in the outer space. That is Brahman. Brahmi stands for Brahman. They are continuously revolving. They are moving around. They are moving the clockwise direction, doing pradakshina around pole star, around Dhruvaloka. In the being situated in the form of Shishumara. How long they will continue to move like that? For one kalpa, for the day of Brahma. But how do we understand their movements? In the form of years. Based on years, number of years, how many number of years completed, by counting the number of years, we understand their movement throughout the day of Brahma. So these are the services done by all these people. Shishumara, Brahmi, Kalpa and Vastara. Vastara represents year, Kalpa represents day of Brahma, for which the luminaries rotate or Brahman karte rahenge, being situated in the form of Shishumara. So all these people are also there in the Dhruvaloka assisting our Dhruva Maharaj. At least Brahmi is there, Kalpa and Vasara are there, Prajapati Shishumara anyway is already in the heaven only. So in that way, it's like that. Hare Krishna, you are able to follow what I am trying to say?
Yes, Prabhu.
No problem.
Loud.
Hare Krishna. Follow. If you can please repeat.
Like you mentioned that Haribol?
Speak now. Yes, Prabhu.
Like you mentioned that Utkala and the daughter Ila and the daughter of Vayu, they are also assisting Dhruva Maharaj. So are
Yes.
they assisting in the same life, or like after they're completing this life in this earth, then they also went to Dhruva Lok and they assist Dhruva Maharaj in the service?
Yes. They all went to Dhruvaloka, just like Dhruva Maharaj went to Dhruvaloka. They are all there along with Dhruva Maharaj, and they are all doing it. If you remember in the Prahlad Maharaj pastime we hear, when a person becomes devotee, many of his generations all become perfected. That is there. And their own also, they are all devotees. That's why they are all perfected and gone to the same place where Dhruva Maharaj is there, and they are assisting Dhruva Maharaj in his service. So like that.
And from the description of the Utkala, it appears that he was like impersonalist or like he
Hey,
was
nahi baba.
also
See, not impersonalist. He is a Brahmagnani. He is knowledgeable of the absolute truth.
he is a devotee of Lord.
Is a devotee of Lord, but Aishwarya Bhakta.
Oh, okay. Jnana
Ah.
Pradhan.
Shanta Bhakta is a completely Shanta Bhakta.
Acha.
Jnani Bhakta. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we have understood now how the planets are connected to Dhruva through the rope made up of wind. And these planets and all the luminaries situated as a Shishumara, they will be continuously rotating for the entire day of Brahma, and their rotation is counted in terms of years. That is Vasara. Now, Vasara, who became the king, so he should be married, he should have children, who will become the next kings. So let us see whom he married and who are his children. Swarvetirvasaraseshta.
Svarvitir Vatsarashyesta
Arya Suta Shadatmajan.
Arya Suta Jad Sadatmanaatmajan
Pushparnam Tigmaketum cha.
Pushparnam Tigmaketum cha
Isham Urjam Vasum Jayam.
Isham Urjam Vasum Jayam. King Vatsara had a very dear wife whose name was Swarviti, and she gave birth to 6 sons named Pushparna, Tigmaketu, Isha, Urja, Vasu, and Jaya.
So, Vastara married Swarviti and gave birth to 6 sons. Now, Vastara is 1 year. The counting of the motion of the planets is done in terms of years. And the planets are situated in the form of a Shishumara, and they'll be revolving around Dhruvaloka for entire day for the entire day of Brahma, known as Kalpa. But where they are revolving, that is Swarviti. Within the area of Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka. Swarviti means in the colonies of Swargaloka area or Bhuvarloka. Both are called Divya Swargas. Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka both are called Divya Swarga. In that Divya Swarga area, all these planets being situated like a Shishumara, continuously revolving for the entire day of Brahma. And their motion in that Swarviti is counted in terms of Vasara. So Vasara is very 1 year. It is very long. अभी उसमें कुछ विभाजन है क्या? Yes. He had 6 sons. The 6 sons represent 6 seasons in a year. Pushparna, Tigmaketu, Isha, Urja, Vasu, and Jaya. Can someone name the 6 seasons within a year in Sanskrit?
Varsha Ritu, Grishma Ritu, Sharad
Vasanta
Ritu,
Ritu, Sharad Ritu, Vasanta Ritu.
Hemant Ritu, Vasant Ritu,
Grishma.
आप लोग वही बोल
Grishma.
रहे हैं, उधर 2-3 ही घूम रहे हैं, आगे पीछे चल रहे हैं. 6 ऋतु है टोटल.
Grishma.
ग्रीष्म वर्षा हेमंत शीत बसंत.
ओके. वसंत ऋतु, ग्रीष्म ऋतु, वर्ष ऋतु,
शीत
Sharad Ritu,
Sharad Ritu.
शरद ऋतु, हेमंत ऋतु, शिशिर ऋतु. Shishira.
Shishira Ritu. Yes, yes.
Like that, the 6 seasons are there. And these 6 people are represented of 6 seasons. Pushparna is Vasanta. Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, Urja. Kartika month is known as Urja Vrata. In Nectar of Devotion, the Prabhupada mentions Kartika as Urja Vrata. Damodar Mas we do know that is called Urja Vrata. That comes in the Sharad Rutu. This is Sharad Rutu. Hemanta and Shishira. So like that. Swarviti represents the outer space, Bhuvarloka and Sargaloka, and Vasara 6 sons represent the 6 seasons in a year. So like that. Hare Krishna, somebody unmuted, kindly mute. Lot of noise we are hearing. Pushparnasya prabhabharya. Hare Krishna.
पुष्पानस्ता प्रभाभार्या
Dosha cha dve babhuvatu.
दोषा चाद्वे बभूवतु
Pratar madhyandinam sayam.
प्रातर्मध्यान्दिनं सायन्
Iti hi asan prabhasuta.
इति हि आसन् प्रभासुता. Translation: Pushparna had two wives named Prabha and Dosha. Prabha had three sons named Pratar, Madhyandinam, and Sayam.
So, of the 6 sons of Vasara, the eldest was Pushparna, who represents the Vasanta Rutu. He married and he had 2 wives. Their names are Prabha and Dosha. And Prabha had 3 children, Pratar, Madhyandina and Saya. So, Pushparna represents the spring season. His 2 wives, Prabha and Dosha, represent the daytime and nighttime. So, in a year, there are 6 seasons. In each and every season, there are 60 days, 2 months. In every day, there are 2 portions we have, daytime and nighttime. So, Prabha represents daytime, Dosha represents nighttime. So, Prabha had 3 children, Pratar, morning, Madhyandina, afternoon, Saya, evening. They represent the 3 parts of the day, morning, noon and evening. So, very simple, fair calculation. Now, Pradyosho Nishito Vyushta.
Pradosho nishito vyustha.
Iti dhosha sutasтрaya.
Iti dosha sutastraya.
Vyushtaha sutam pushkarnyam.
Vyushta sutam pushkarninyam.
Sarvatejasamadade.
Sarvatejasamadate. Dosha had 3 sons, Pradosha, Nishitha and Vyushta. Vyushta's wife was named Pushkarni and she gave birth to a very powerful son named Sarvateja.
So Pushparna had 2 wives. The first wife was the Prabha. She gave birth to 3 sons, Pratar, Madhyandina and Saya. Second wife name is Dosha. She represents night time and she gave birth to 3 children. Their names are Pradosha, Nishita and Vishta. Pradosha means early part of the night. That is from 6 to 10. Early part of the night is Pradosha. And midnight is Nishita, Nishachara. 10 to 2, it is midnight. And 2 to 6 is Vyushta, early in the morning. And of these 6 people, Vyushta is the eldest. Then next Vyushta became the king. And Vyushta married Pushkarini. And they had a son, Sarvateja. That means Vyushta means early morning hours from 4 to, not 4, 2 to 6. Early morning hours. So in those morning hours, in the eastern side, there is ocean. That ocean is known as Pushkarini. From that Pushkarini, there rises sun. Early in the morning, around 5 to 6 a.m., the sun rises as if rising from the Pushkarini, rising from the ocean. That's why sun is called Sarvateja. And Pushkarini is eastern ocean. Dosha, 3 sons, Pradosha, Nishita, Vyushta represent the 3 parts of the night time, early night, midnight, dawn. Sarvateja, the son of Vyushta, dawn, and his wife Pushkarani, eastern lake, represents the sun who rises at dawn from the eastern lake. It's like that. So early morning hour, sun rises in the eastern from the eastern ocean. That is represented here. Sarvateja means the sun who gives brightness all over. So fine.
Krishna.
So these are the children. They will be responsible for all these activities. They are, in one sense, they are the deities of early night, midnight, late night, early morning, morning, afternoon, evening, daytime, nighttime, and one season, all 6 seasons, year, kalpa, like that. They are all respective deities, devatas, and they do respective services. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, Dhruva was given the abode of the Lord. So
Yes.
in that abode, there is no kala factor performing as such. So how does all this come?
No, no, no. See, it is not that Kala is not there. Kala is everywhere. In the spiritual world, Kala is there, but it becomes people become indifferent to Kala. Kala does not control them, but in the material world, Kala controls them. Since Dhruvaloka is in the material world and Dhruvaloka is abode of Lord Vishnu is responsible for the maintenance of the universe. He maintains only with the help of Kala. Kala will be there in Dhruvaloka. But Kala does not control the Supreme Lord. Control of Kala means a person becoming old, becoming diseased and becoming dying. Growing, becoming old and dying is the influence of Kala. That will not happen in Dhruva Loka.
Acha.
But counting of Kala is always there.
Acha, but because it is said na tad bhasayate suryam na shashanko na pavaka.
That is spiritual world.
That is not
Dhruva
the
Loka
Dhruva
is,
Loka.
that is spiritual world. Spiritual world is Paravyoma, outside the universe. Now we are talking about Dhruva Loka, which is here only, next to us. Every day we see Dhruva Loka. Every night we can see Dhruva Loka.
Okay.
That is in that the Dhruva Loka is in Sargaloka only, here only, nearby.
Okay, Prabhuji, got it.
Yeah. Kala will be there. Counting of time will be there. Counting of the years will be there. It does not control people. That means people always remain youthful. They don't grow old. They don't become diseased. They don't die. Kala's influence won't be there, but Kala is there. Sachakshustutamakutyam
Tachakshuh sutam akutyam
patnyam manum avapaha
patnyam manum avapaha
manor asuta mahishi
manor asuta mahishi
virajan sutan
virajannadvalatutan
purum kushtam tritam dyumnam
purum kutsam tritam dyumnam
satyavantam mrutam vratam
satyavantam vritam
agnistomam atiratram
agnistomam atiratram
pradyumnam shivimulmukam.
pradyumnam sibim ulmukam. Sarvateja's wife Akuti gave birth to a son named Chakshusha, who became the sixth Manu at the end of the Manu millennium. Nadvala, the wife of Chakshusha Manu, gave birth to the following faultless sons: Puru, Kutsa, Trita, Jhumna, Satyavan, Krita, Vrata, Agnistoma, Atiratra, Pradyumna, Sibi, and Ulmuka.
So now, Sarvateja, who is also called as Chakshu. Chakshu means, normally, traditionally speaking, when the sun rises, all people can open their eyes and begin to see what is there in front of their eyes. Otherwise, in the night time, one cannot see. So in that way, as soon as the sun comes, we also get our eyes back. That means we get to see. So that Sarvateja married Akuti and gave birth to Chakshusha Manu. So Chakshusha Manu is the sixth Manu. Though he was born in the first Manvantara only, but he continued to live till the 6th Manvantara time, and then he became Manu. So now, here Chakshusha Manu is considered to be a devotee. A Chakshu is not only ordinary Chakshu, but it is a spiritual Chakshu. Just like early in the morning, the sun rises from the eastern lake, Pushkarani. Similarly, if we practice bhakti every day early morning hours, pure bhakti will rise within our heart. Pure bhakti will appear within our heart. And then, from that pure bhakti, we will manifest 12 wonderful qualities. Just like Chakshusha Manu married Nadvala and gave birth to 12 wonderful sons, 12 devotee sons. Similarly, when we practice bhakti every day morning hours while sun is rising in the eastern provinces, then we will obtain Jnana Shakshu or Chasra Shakshu. Just like sun, because sun rises and reveals everything. Similarly, the Jnana rises within our heart and reveals everything. Then the pure bhakti will manifest in our heart. Along with that, 12 wonderful bhakti qualities will manifest. So as it is indicated here in this verse. Sarvateja or Chakshu represent the eye based on the scriptural knowledge. His son Chakshusha Manu represents a great devotee possessed of all good qualities, represented by his 12 sons without passion. The 12 sons are without passion. So it is here now, whatever it is given. Vi Raja, without Rajoguna. That means when bhakti is generated in the heart, whatever qualities that devotee has, they are all without any passion and ignorance. They are all sattvic qualities, which are favorable for devotional service. So in that way, it is said the son of Chakshu, known as Chakshusha, was the 6th Manu. He had many sons, headed by Puru, Purusha, and Sudyumna, etc. So, Shashtascha Chakshusha Putras, Chakshusho Nama Vaimanu, Puru Purusha Sudyumna, Pramukha Chakshushatmaja. So, Chakshusha gave birth to Chakshush gave birth to Chakshusha Manu, and Chakshusha Manu gave birth to 12 sons. Among them, Purusha, Sudyumna are famous. So, like that. This is mentioned in the 8th canto. This verse comes in 8th canto. So, like that. So, who are the 12 sons? So, among Puru, Kushta, the eldest one is Ulmuka. सबसे बड़ा Ulmuka. Then after Chakshusha Manu, Ulmuka. He will be the king. Ulmuko janayat putran.
Ulmuko janayat putran.
Pushkarinyam saduttamam.
Pushkarinyan shaduttaman.
Angam sumanasam kyatim.
Angam sumana samkhyatim.
Kratum angira samgayam.
Kratum angira samgayam. Of the 12 sons, Ulmuka begot 6 sons in his wife Pushkarini. They were all very good sons, and their names were Anga, Sumana, Khyati, Kratu, Angira, Gaya, and Gaya.
So basically here, the whole point of discussion is try to understand that Dhruva Maharaj and all his family members are painlessly, I mean, what we can say, painstakingly performing their respective duties so that every day sun would rises, sets throughout the year, throughout the day of Brahma, and they are controlling all the seasons. They are creating morning, afternoon, evening, early night, midnight, early in the morning. All these things they are doing so that we should practice bhakti early in the morning and give birth to pure devotional service with all the wonderful qualities in the heart of each and every individual. For that purpose, all these people are painstakingly doing with respect to service in Dhruloka. So how much we should be sincere and serious in our daily practice of bhakti? That should be understood from this section. So now the lineage will continue. So among the 12 wonderful sons of Vaivashya Chakshushamanu, the eldest was Ulmuka, and he married Pushkarini, and he gave birth to 6 sons: Anga, Sumana, Kyati, Kratu, Angira, and Gaya. Now in this chapter we are going to discuss Anga and also his son Vena. So here is Anga coming. So in order to come to Anga, in between all the people were mentioned. Now Sunitangasya Yapaten.
सुनिताङ्गस्य यापतेन्
Sushuve Venumulbanam.
शुशुवे वेनम् उल्बनम्
Yeddaushiliyat Rajarshir.
यद्दौशील्यात् स राजर्षिर्
Nirvinno Niragat Purat.
निर्विन्नो निरगात् पुरात्. The wife of Anga, Sunita, gave birth to a son named Vena, who was very crooked. The saintly king Anga was very disappointed with Vena's bad character, and he left home and kingdom and went out to the forest.
The wife of Anga, Sunita, gave birth to a fearful son named Vena. Shushuve Venu Mulbanam. Venu, his name is Venu, but Ulbanam, Bhayanak person. The saintly king Anga, Rajarshi Anga, disgusted with Vena's bad character and left home, Niragat Purat. Till now, all were devotee sons until Anga. But Anga had a sinful son, a fearful, sinful son. So father was trying to control him, correct him, but he could not do. He failed. So he became so disgusted. He gave the kingdom and went to forest. So that is what happened. So now, Yam Yangashepu Kupita.
Yam Angase. Please continue, Mati.
Yam Yangashepuhu Kupita.
Vag Vajra Munaya Kila.
Vag Vajra Munayah Kila.
Gata Sostasya Bhuyaste.
Gata Sostasya Bhuyaste.
Mamantur Dakshinam Karam.
Mamanthur Dakshinam Karam.
Arajake Tadaloke.
Rajake Tadaloke.
Dasyubhi Pidita Praja.
Dasyubhi Piditaha Praja.
Jato Narayanamshena.
Jato Narayanamshena.
Prutur Adhyakshitishwara.
Pruthuradhyaha Kshitikshvara. My dear Vidura, when great sages curse, their words are invincible as a thunderbolt. Thus, when they cursed King Vena out of anger, he died. After his death, since there was no king, all the rogues and thieves flourished. The kingdom became unregulated, and all the citizens suffered greatly. On seeing this, the great sages took the right hand of Vena as a churning rod, and as a result of their churning, Lord Vishnu, in his partial representation, made his advent as King Prithu, the original emperor of the world.
As we see here, our Chakshushamanu had 12 sons. The eldest was Ulmuka. Ulmuka married Pushkarini, gave birth to 6 sons. The eldest was Anga. Anga married Sunita and gave birth to one son who is very cruel. His name is Vena. and the father was trying to correct the cruel son. He tried many ways, but he failed. He was disgusted. He gave up the kingdom and went to forest. Then Vena became the king, and Vena was ruling the kingdom in a fearful way, torturing everyone. Unable to tolerate the tortures given by Vena, the sages, whose words are like thunderbolts, becoming angry at Vena, cursed him because the cursed him to die. They just chanted Humkara. By chanting Omkara, one realizes Brahman, but by chanting Omkara, one kills a person. So after the death of Vena, there was no king. The entire kingdom became kingless. Because the people were without a king, the population was tormented by thieves. Tasvihu Pidita Praja. Thus, the sages churned the right hand of the dead Vena. The Vena's dead body was there. They churned the hands of the Vena. Okay. As a result of that, Prutu, the first king of the earth, was born as a portion of Narayana. Basically, they churned both the hands. From the right hand appeared Prutu. From the left hand appeared his wife Archi, Mother Lakshmi. An expansion of Lord Narayana and an expansion of Lord Mother Lakshmi appeared as Prutu and Archi by churning the two hands of the dead body of Vena. So all these things are mentioned in a small nutshell. Now Vidura asks a question. I want to hear them in detail. That's how the discussion will go forward. The cause of churning Vena's hand was the lack of king. Because there was no king, the sages churned Vena's body. Then they got Prutu and Archi. From that churning, Prutu appeared. He is called the first king because he established towns and cities. Before that, palace was there, the Rajdhani was there, everything was there. But it was for Prutu for the first time in an organized way constructed all the cities and towns. Last week, I mean, till yesterday evening, last 3 days, I was in Chandigarh, traveling different places in Chandigarh. The whole city was constructed with well planned, big roads, and there is a lot of gap between two houses, and everything is very nicely planned. Roads are very wide and very big, so traffic is very less. So everything is nicely planned, and there is less chance of accidents, etc., etc., etc. Like that, Prutu planned and constructed different cities and villages, everything. That's why he is called as the first king. One of the duty of king is also to make sure that town planning that he did. That's why he was considered to be the first king. So now, by hearing briefly about Anga, Vena, Prutu, you want to know about them in detail. He asks 2-3 questions to Maitreya to kindly explain about them in detail. So like that. Vidura Uvacha
Vidura Uvacha
Tasya Shilani Desador
Tasya Shilani Desado
Brahmanasya Mahatmanaha
Brahmanasya Mahatmana
Rajna Katam Uddushta
Rajyakatam Abhudadishta
Prajaya Dvimanayayau.
Prajaya Vimana Yayo. Vidura inquired from the sage Maitreya, my dear Brahman, King Anga was very gentle. He had high character and was a saintly personality and lover of Brahminical culture. How is that such a great soul fought a bad son like Vena, because of whom he became indifferent to his kingdom and left it?
Now the doubt is starting from Dhruva, even before that, Swayambhu Manu, Uttanapada, Dhruva, and all these people are wonderful devotees. How is it that in the line of a devotee family, a Asura can be born, Asura like person can be born? That is the question. How could King Anga, a notion of good qualities, saintly, respectful to the Brahmanas, a great devotee, had a son which caused him to leave home in disgrace? उनको घर छोड़ के वन में जाना पड़ा क्यों? ऐसा सन, ऐसा पुत्र क्यों प्राप्त हुआ? So because of the bad son, he became disgraced and left home. Kim vamo vena uddishya
किं वां हो वेन उद्दिश्य
brahmadandam mayuyujam
ब्रह्मदण्डम् अयूयुयन्
dandavratadarer rajni
दण्डव्रतधरे राज्ञी
munayo dharma kovidha.
मुनयो धर्मकोविदाः. Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages who were completely conversant with religious principles desires to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment and thus awarded him the great punishment,
The
Brahma
first
Sapa.
question, the first question was, how is it that a cruel son is born to a great devotee Anga? And second question, how is it that the Brahmanas who are supposed to be peaceful, tolerant, have cursed Vena and killed him and punished him? Where king is supposed to punish everyone and he is only punished. ऐसे कैसे हो गए? Amha means offense. The king has the right to punish and the sages have no right to punish the king. Still the sages punish the king. Why? ऐसा कभी होता नहीं, but ये यहाँ पे हुआ क्यों? नावद्येय प्रजापाला हरे कृष्ण
नावध्येय प्रजापालः
प्रजाभिरगवानपि
प्रजाभिरघवानपि
यद् असौ लोकपालानां
यद् असौ लोकपालानां
बिभर्ति ओजस तेजसा.
बिभर्ति ओजस तेजसा. It is the duty of all citizens in a state never to insult the king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. Because of his prowess, the king is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs.
So the meaning is, even though king may do sometimes here and there some mistakes, but no one has a right to punish the king. How could the sages punish him? Like that. The king, even if sinful, should not be disregarded by the citizens because he maintains the effectiveness of the devatas by his power as the king. So king cannot be punished by anyone, but still the sages punished him. Why? Like that. Etat akyahi me brahman
एतद् आख्याहि मे ब्रह्मन्
सुनीतात्मज चेष्टितम्
नीतात्मजचेष्टितम्
श्रद्धानाय भक्ताय
श्रद्ददानाय भक्ताय
त्वंपरायण वित्तमा त्वंपरावर
त्वंपरावर वित्तमा. Vidura requested Maitreya, my dear Brahmana, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee. So please explain this.
Yeah, he says that I am asking you because you are knowledgeable of past and future. Para avara vittama. So please tell the activities of Anga, Vena, Sunita, and also Prutu. Please speak about all of them. Who is interested to know about all these things? Shraddhanaya Bhaktaya. So, my dear sage, please talk about all these things. That was the request of Vidura. So, being requested by Vidura, Maitreya will talk about Anga, how Anga and Sunita got married, how Vena was born, what kind of cruelty he displayed, what was the reason for which the sages became angry with him in order to punish him, cursed him, and killed him, and then how they churned Vena, how they produced Prutu and Archie, and what happened afterwards. All these things will be narrated by our Maitreya from now on, which we will discuss in the next class. We will stop here. So the remaining events we will discuss the next class. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Our devotees were seeing the slides or not?
Prabhuji,
Yes,
able to
Prabhuji, we
see.
are able to see.
But one
Yes,
Mataji
Prabhuji,
wrote
we
that
were-
we are not able to see the slides. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So no problem. If there are no questions, we will stop here. Thank you very much for joining, and all those devotees who have given exam. Thank you very